Hello everyone. I hope I find you well from the different parts of the world you're watching from. Today I decided to talk about emotional intelligence. I know it's something which we take for granted, and some of us even believe we are really good at it, but it's easier said than done, believe me. So I decided to talk about emotional intelligence today. So what exactly are we talking about, when we talk about emotional intelligence? We are looking at your ability to understand and to manage your own emotions and the emotions of others. Okay? So you understand how you're feeling, you understand your emotions, and then you know how to manage those emotions and also those of people around you. Understand their emotions and also know how to manage the emotions of those around you. When I was a younger engineer, everything was about me. Whatever the way people reacted in my presence, what they said, what they did, it was always about me. But trust me, it's not always about you. People sometimes react to you because of maybe how they grew up. They never saw or experienced or worked with a lady engineer. So the way they react is not because of you in that position, but they are like, how does this work? This woman, she's an engineer, really? Can she do the job? Because they don't know any better. Sometimes someone is frustrated from where they're coming from, so whatever reaction that they make in your presence is because of wherever they're coming from, the emotions they're dealing with, and not about you. So you need to understand that and know how to manage. And some of these people, it's not about fighting them, it's about schooling them. If they don't believe women can be good engineers, it's about schooling them through what you do. So it's not always about fighting and shouting, but you need to know how you can manage those emotions. So skills that are included in emotional intelligence. Okay, you're looking at emotional awareness. Okay, that is the ability to identify one's own emotions. Okay, so that's emotional awareness. You're aware of the way you're feeling. And then also the second one is ability to harness those emotions and apply them to tasks like thinking and problem solving. Difficult, huh? Because sometimes the emotions that we have, they're not necessarily in the direction of thinking, or you want to harness them for problem solving. For you, it's just fight. Okay, so when you're emotionally intelligent, you're harnessing those emotions for problem solving and also for thinking. And then also ability to manage emotions, which includes both regulating one's own emotions when necessary and helping others to do the same. Okay, what happens? Someone comes in, they want to fight. How are you going to handle that? Such that at the end of the day, you harness your own emotions and you also help the other party to also keep their emotions in check. Okay, I'm going to look at 13 signs of high emotional intelligence. Okay, for you to be considered emotionally intelligent, what are the signs? Okay, what are we looking at? You think about feelings. Okay, and then you ask questions like, what are my emotional strengths? What are my weaknesses? We all have strengths and we all have weaknesses emotionally. So you need to think, what are my emotional strengths and what are my emotional weaknesses? And then you also ask yourself questions like, how does my current mood affect my thoughts and decision making? The current mood set that I'm in, how does it affect my decision making, and my thoughts? Then you're also looking at what's going on under the surface that influences what others say or do. Yeah, exactly like I said, that someone has other things going on. It's not about you. So you need to understand what's going on under the surfaces in other people's lives. Okay, then the second sign is you pause. Trust me, this is easier said than done, whereby you take a moment. Someone says something to you, something maybe you find to be critical, to be negative, and then before you say anything, before you react, you pause. Most of us want to just dive in and say whatever comes to our head and to our mind that particular moment, but take a moment to stop and think before you speak or act. This will save you a lot of embarrassing moments. Sometimes, you haven't got exactly what this other person is saying or meaning, and then you react already. And then this person says, no, you know what? I actually mean this. And you're like, oh, sorry, I hadn't got you. So that will be really embarrassing. So pause a moment when someone speaks or acts. Pause so that you can react better. Okay, so also pausing makes you refrain from making permanent decisions based on temporary emotions. Okay, we don't want to make permanent decisions based on temporary emotions. 3, you strive to control your thoughts. We can't control our thoughts, believe me. So you don't have much control over the emotion you experience in a given moment. Yeah, sometimes the emotion it just comes up as a reaction, but you can control your reaction to those emotions by focusing on your thoughts. And then 4, you benefit from criticism. Yes, criticism is a chance for you to learn. Of course, I know that sometimes the way it's delivered can really be annoying or off-putting, but get the gist of what exactly this person is saying, okay, when they criticize you. And it's also a chance for you to learn. So when you receive negative feedback, keep your emotion in check and ask yourself, how can this make me better? Sometimes when we receive criticism, negative criticism, we just want to fight back. We want to justify, you see. But take a step back, look at it. Okay, how can this make me better? If it can, then you work from there. If it's just because I know there are going to be people there who are just going to criticize. If it doesn't help you in any way, then just shove it off and put it where it's supposed to go. Number 5, you show authenticity. How many people do you know who are authentic? Count for me. Okay, two names. Sometimes you won't even come up with any, authentic people. So we're saying, say what you mean. Mean what you say. Stick to your values and your principles above everything else. How many of us can manage that? Say what you mean what you say, and stick to your principles. 5, you show authenticity. Okay, if I was to ask you to name 2 authentic people in your life, would you come up with 2 names or you'd find none? Because I know it's very difficult for people to be authentic these days. I think just people have just become frivolous. But, we're still talking about mean what you say and say what you mean. And, stick to your values and your principles, no matter what situation you might be in. Okay, that's 5. Then 6, demonstrate empathy. This is understanding others' thoughts and feelings. And when people realize that you empathize with them, then they connect with you better. You create deeper connections with people when you empathize with them. So instead of judging or labeling others, you work hard to see things through their eyes. Sometimes the way people react, the way they talk, it's because of something that they're going through. So for you, instead of judging them, you actually now are prepared to see things through their eyes before you make a judgment. You praise others. Make it a point that every day you praise someone for something they've done. And there's so much that you can praise people for, but it's just not in our nature to be praising other people. Praise them, and when you commend others, you build trust in the process. 8, you give helpful feedback. I know we're just used to criticize. Sometimes when someone criticizes, you say, okay, what needs to be done, what needs to be changed? They have no clue, but all they can do is criticize. Okay, so you need to actually package your criticism as constructive feedback, because criticism hurts people's feelings, and you need to realize that. So you package your criticism as constructive feedback so that the recipient sees it as helpful, instead of harmful. And then 9, you apologize. How many of us can say sorry? And sometimes, apologizing doesn't mean that you're wrong. Sometimes it just means that you value the relationship. That's why you are apologizing. And that you're showing that you value the relationship more than your ego. Okay. Then, let's see, where was I? Okay, you apologize. Then 10, you forgive and forget. Easier said than done, I know. But hanging on to resentment is like leaving a knife inside a wound. Okay, the offending party moves on with their life, but you never give yourself a chance to heal. So try to forgive and forget. You keep your commitments. These days, people break commitments like it's in fashion. They don't value. If you a promise, you commit. Okay, we will meet tomorrow. We'll discuss this. I will submit this by this deadline. I will do this by this time. And people just break that commitment without even blinking an eyelid. You see, so when you are committed, people will trust you. People will rely on you, and you need that. 12, you help others. People value your willingness to take time to assist them. Not just to give commands, but they know that you're willing even to go down in those trenches with them and to work side by side with them. Then the last one is you protect yourself from emotional sabotage. We know those people, they realize that you are someone who actually is understanding, and they try to manipulate other people's emotions to promote their own personal agenda, or for some other selfish cause. So you need to protect yourself from emotional sabotage. And then I also decided to look at the specific components of emotional intelligence. What are the components? There's self-awareness, knowing your emotions, recognizing your feelings as they occur. 2, mood management, handling feelings so they are relevant to the current situation. Sometimes you take your mood from home, you bring it to work. You take the mood from work and take it home. So you need to be able to manage your feelings so that they're relevant to the current situation. Self-motivation, gathering up your feelings and directing yourself towards a goal despite self-doubt, inertia, and impulsiveness. And then 4, empathy, recognizing feelings in others, okay, and tuning in to their verbal and non-verbal cues. Sometimes it's not spoken, but you can read, be able to read even the unspoken. Managing relationships, handling interpersonal interaction, conflict resolution, and negotiation. Okay, so those are the specific components of emotional intelligence. Then I looked at strategies to develop and strengthen emotional intelligence. Okay, listen up. These are the strategies. Number 1, pay attention to emotions. Pause for a moment. Be mindful of bodily tension and note what you're feeling at a given time. Okay? Then 2, ask yourself, is this the right time and the right place? That is important. Some things don't need to be said. You don't need to take to say something at that particular moment. You realize, no, this is not the right place for me to say this. I will take this to the right time and the right place. Reflect on the emotions of those around you. Okay, think about your own emotions and how you typically react to negative situations. Number 4, don't try to be a mind reader. Yes, don't think for other people. I think they mean this. Okay, check with others on how they are feeling. Ask them. Don't be a mind reader. Number 5, become more empathetic. Yes, I think empathy is coming up. Understand other people's feelings. 6, have a growth mindset. Choose to learn from criticism, okay, rather than simply defend your views, feelings, and behaviors. Don't always, ready to fight back when it's negative criticism. Just ask yourself, what can I learn? And then keep working on it. It won't happen overnight. It's not easy, but you keep working on it. You keep practicing. You have the patience and it can happen. Then I also looked at, these days people are working remotely because of the COVID-19. So I looked at 4 emotional intelligence skills needed for remote jobs today. Because working from home has become a norm, but you still need to interact with your co-workers. Yeah. So the first one is trust. You need to garner trust from managers and co-workers, that you're doing what needs to be done at the right time, in the right place. When they ask for something, you deliver. You know, when they say we want something by midday, you deliver by midday. That way you garner the trust that you need working remotely. And then self-awareness. You know your hot buttons and how to moderate extreme emotions such as anger or fear. You know, you're alone at home, so you need to be self-aware. You know which buttons don't when pressed, you know, actually trigger fear and anger in you. And then you need to show personal discipline even when under pressure. Sometimes because we're working remotely, you know, there might be that pressure, you know, because you're not seeing the body language of the other person, and you take maybe whatever they're saying as negative or as an attack. So you need to be able to show personal discipline even when you're under pressure. Empathy. Remote workers feel isolated. You're alone, and some who stay alone, they're just there waiting for a Zoom meeting or something like that. So be someone who checks in with their colleagues. If you're a team leader, check in with your team. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Good morning. How is the day? If you're a co-worker, check with your co-workers. Empathy. Be able to motivate remote teams. Yeah. And then 4, communication ability. It's not easy communicating remotely with people, but make sure that you're able to articulate yourself clearly, and also that you practice active listening. So those are the skills that you need working remotely in these trying times. And those are the strategies that you need to make sure you are more emotionally intelligent than you were yesterday. I hope this video will help you. It will trigger something in you that you start, you know, trying to work on your emotional intelligence. And trust me, you will build better relationships if you're emotionally intelligent. In my book, Tech Girl Diaries, there's actually some section that I write about emotional intelligence, how I also was on the other side, and how I learned the hard way that, you know, I had to be emotionally intelligent and not just fight all the time. It's not about you. Remember, it's not always about you, but you need to understand the emotions of the other person. Otherwise, take care and see you soon.